This is crazy, but my most anticipated games on the PlayStation this year are coming out from none other than Microsoft Gaming. So let's talk about the two biggest reasons why, and let's talk about the 9 games you would normally play on the Xbox that I can't wait to play on my PlayStation 5 this year. Let's get into reason number 1. PlayStation simply has a lack of 2025 pipeline, and here's a few reasons why. It goes back to several years ago where ex-CEO Jim Ryan was under the helm, and PlayStation jumped headfirst into the deep end without floaties, raw dogging it into their live service era, because at the end of the day, they wanted a bite of the money pie. You know, they wanted their own Fortnite, they wanted a little piece of the bacon, and they had one surprising success. They did have Helldivers, because every blind squirrel does find a nut from time to time. Jim did enjoy that success for a moment shortly before retiring early in 2024. And then from there, PlayStation ended up hiring 2 co-CEOs with Herman Hulst and Hideaki Nishino. And they went down this path until the Concord flop. And this is the largest flop in entertainment history from what I can tell, to the tune of $400 million. So it's a pretty chunk of change for sure. But you know, if only they had listened to their fans crying out to them for months, saying that, hey, don't go down this path, maybe it would have saved them $400 million. But hey, what the heck do I know? Since then though, PlayStation has made multiple live service cancellations, and they seem to be making a massive course correction. In fact, they just demoted the new co-CEO, Herman Hulst, who is actually responsible with Jim Ryan for greenlighting many of the live service projects. So it is a bit of good news for you PlayStation fans out there, that it does seem that they're going in the right direction. But at the end of the day, who asked for a live service Horizon? Who asked for a live service God of War? No one did. But here's the issue. Live service games take an average of roughly 5 years to develop. Some of them up to 8, 9, 10 years with GTA 6. So these recent cancellations at Ben Studio and Bluepoint, and who knows who else in coming weeks, means that these talented studios have been wasting years of productivity, and they likely won't have anything available until the next generation. So that's disappointing for sure for fans of PlayStation. Currently, their 2025 exclusive list is looking very lean so far. So they got Ghost of Yotei, which I'm pumped for. I'm currently finishing a platinum run on Ghost of Tsushima because I never got the platinum, so that's been fun. They have Death Stranding 2 on the lineup. I actually never played the first one, so I'm probably gonna have to play Death Stranding 1 before the second one comes out. And they might have Phantom Blade 0. I've heard some good hype about that, but unless there are more announcements at an upcoming State of Play, we're looking at a pretty lean lineup for 2025, which doesn't bode well. It's pretty lackluster for PlayStation. Now, reliable industry insider Nate the Hate has suggested that there's going to be a new PlayStation State of Play in mid-February, so we'll have to see what happens there. We'll know a lot more about PlayStation's lineup after the State of Play. But PlayStation's lack of pipeline is just as important as the second reason, which is Microsoft Gaming's shift in strategy to multi-platform. In case you haven't been paying attention, Microsoft has made a massive shift in strategy right in the middle of this console generation after getting completely dominated in hardware sales. I mean, we're talking every Xbox that sold, for every one that sold, at least 2 PlayStation 5s are sold. So it's a pretty wide margin there that they're losing in hardware sales. And for some additional background, they've invested and acquired multiple studios over the last few years. So initially was ZeniMax, and they have Bethesda, who does Elder Scrolls, Fallout, and Starfield, and id Software, who does Doom and Quake. They also acquired Activision Blizzard King. I mean, they do so much. They do Call of Duty, Warcraft, Starcraft, Diablo, freaking Candy Crush, Crash Bandicoot. I mean, so many gems there. They acquired these companies to the tune of over $80 billion with a B. 80 billion with a B. Now, looking to the future, Microsoft Gaming recognizes that the future of gaming revenue is in primarily digital, not in hardware sales. But that's the data. You know, don't take it from me, take it from the data here. And that future is already here. We're already living in it. And according to Phil Spencer of Microsoft Gaming in his recent interview with Destin Legary, the most played games are on any screen. And he also said previously, we have no red lines, no ring fence on any games. He is clearly pro multi-platform, and he's not afraid to say it in his interviews because he believes it's good for Xbox from a bottom line standpoint. He also believes it's good for the medium as a whole. This tells us that Microsoft is simply playing a different game now. Now, on the other hand, Microsoft is a publicly traded company, and I'm a financial planner in my day job, okay? So publicly traded companies have to keep shareholders happy by reporting profits now, quarter after quarter after quarter, but also into the future by getting them to buy into your vision of the future. So if you continue to report that you're getting dominated in sales by the competitor, but also your $80 billion investment hasn't paid off yet, well, they're going to start demanding that changes are going to be made, regardless if they do buy into the future of the company. So the question is, what adjustments are they making now? Well, long term, they're attempting to make Game Pass more attractive and worthwhile to subscribe. So with the Xbox Anywhere campaign, and plus you have more, better, higher quality games from all these amazing studios that they've acquired. So that's one part of it. The downside is that this strategy can take years to develop, and also games can take years to develop. So it's not an immediate payoff. So in the short term, to get an influx of cash now, you know what they're doing? Well, we're seeing that now. That's what this video is about. They are sending many titles and even their most iconic, beloved IP to the competitors to get an influx of cash. And you know what? It's working. They're making a ton of money on PlayStation users. It looks like in December, there's this article from Pushware where 64% of sales in December came from a PlayStation. That's insane. Now, granted, December is an anomaly, I think, because of Call of Duty, but that's still something that you can count on every single year. And it's only going to be more like that in the future as Xbox puts more and more on PlayStation. So it's official. If you can't beat them, join them. And that's exactly what Xbox did all the way to the bank. So finally, let's cover the 9 games you normally play on Xbox that I absolutely cannot wait to play on PlayStation this year. Now, some are rumored, some are confirmed, so time will only tell, and we're probably going to find out a lot more this year, what's going to get confirmed, and maybe even more rumors that pop up throughout the year. But for now, let's just start with the confirmed games, and then we'll get into the rumored ones. So first, we have Forza Horizon 5, and I cannot wait for this. Surprisingly, I never got into Gran Turismo on the PlayStation. I know that's basically blasphemy, but it's true. I've always been more of a Forza guy than a Gran Turismo guy. And it was recently announced for spring 2025. You can already wishlist it on the PlayStation Store, so I'm stoked for this one. Sounds like it'll be very soon. It's a little more casual, which I prefer in a racing game. So I'm looking forward to exploring that beautiful open world, and if the trophy list too isn't too insane, might even go for that platinum trophy. Next would be Claire Obscure Expedition 33, which looks really good. It's a upcoming new JRPG, which recently was at Xbox's Developer Direct, and it's coming out on April 24th on Xbox and PlayStation and PC. It looks really good, very pretty, good story. It's the turn-based RPG plus real-time combat. So looks really interesting. I'm gonna play it. I made a video about it recently, so feel free to check that out as well. Next would be Doom: The Dark Ages, which was kind of the highlight of the recent Xbox Developer Direct. I mean, this game just looks incredible. It's, your typical Doom combat where you're just ripping and tearing all the way through, but it's set in the Dark Ages, so some of the move sets, some of the weapons are slightly more old school, and then the level design is also Dark Ages. It's also going to be out on PlayStation on May 15th. I can't wait for this. It's going to be super fun. In all these games, I'm going to go for the platinum, hopefully, so we'll see. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is the next one, which got some pretty good critical acclaim at the end of 2024. Some people were even putting that on their Game of the Year list. I put that on my honorable mentions just based on what I had seen, but I do want to give it a full playthrough whenever it comes to PlayStation. It looked really pretty. It wasn't what I was expecting because it was a little bit more stealthy. Plus, I grew up an Indiana Jones fan, so I'm looking forward to it. Indiana Jones is confirmed for spring 2025, so we have that to look forward to as well. So the last of the confirmed games, and then we'll get into the rumored games, is Outer Worlds 2, and I loved this trailer that was played at the Game Awards at the end of 2024. It looked really interesting. It looked humorous. I never played Outer Worlds 1, but based on the trailer and all the hype around Outer Worlds 2, I'm gonna play this game. It looks like something I would enjoy. It's adventure, it's RPG, it's space. It sounds like everything that I would love to play. So, and it's humorous, which I don't play a lot of humorous games, but you know, I think everyone needs some humor in their life from time to time. So I'll probably give it a shot. Now, Outer Worlds 2, there's not a date on it yet, but transparently, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw this getting pushed all the way to 2026 because Xbox has a ton going on and they're putting a lot of games out on the Xbox and the PlayStation. Not to mention, we also have GTA 6 coming up in the fall, which may be pushed to winter. So a lot of companies are kind of waiting on what the behemoth of GTA 6 will do, because it's just going to suck all the air out of the room and it's going to get all the sales in that quarter potentially. So that's why I think Outer Worlds 2 could potentially be pushed, but you know, we'll see. Now for the rumored games, these games have been corroborated by reliable industry insiders Nate the Hate and Jez Corden, but also from comments suggested by Mr. Phil Spencer himself with his no red lines, no reading fence comments. I have 4 rumored games here that I'm excited to go through. Next would be Gears of War Ultimate. So I'm so excited for this because I never got to fully experience Gears of War growing up. Whenever I was growing up, I didn't purchase Gears of War whenever it was coming out on Xbox because I was going through a phase where I was more into school than I was video games. So I can't wait for this so I can fully experience Gears of War. So, you know, I've never had a chance for a deep dive, and this is my opportunity as an adult, and I'm actually absolutely going to take it. And it's great because it's going to introduce a lot of new people to the franchise, and I believe it's a great move for Xbox, great move for gamers. This is going to be really good for a lot of people, so I'm excited about it. Next on that list, Fable 4, another one that I absolutely loved growing up. I'm curious to see how it's changed over the years. You know, Fable 1 is probably my all-time favorite, followed by Fable 2. Fable 3 kind of was a little bit off. I didn't love that nearly as much, but I'm curious to see what Fable 4 looks like with this next-gen hardware that we have nowadays. So it's been suggested that Fable 4 will come out in 2025, and it may be day one release for PlayStation 5. But again, it's all rumored. Time will tell if it actually comes out. Next would be Starfield. Now, many people have rumored that Starfield is coming to PlayStation 5 for, it feels like months at this point, but I would not be shocked if it ended up coming over. I do have a lot of respect for Bethesda. They put out a lot of good stuff. If it comes over on PlayStation, I'm probably going to pick it up and give it a shot. So, you know, that I'm definitely looking forward to it if it does end up coming over. If not, well, there's a lot of other ones coming over that we have to look forward to. Finally, the biggie. Halo Master Chief Collection. Whenever I read that this was probably coming out, I knew that all bets were off for any other game, because this is like the creme de la creme of Xbox. This is the absolute best of their creations, and if you're sending over Halo Master Chief Collection, all bets are off and anything else could come over. So I'm just envisioning the day where I get to fire up this game on my PlayStation, I hear that music, I start going through the story, I blast through some Flood, and I eventually get that platinum trophy on Halo. Come on. Don't tell me that doesn't sound awesome. I can't wait. Whenever it comes out, I'm picking it up day one. I may even stay off work for a little while to do it. It's going to be amazing. So we shall see. But if you made it this far, thanks so much for tuning in. I'll be back at least weekly, providing you with other gaming content that is relevant to you in your world. So if you enjoyed it, consider liking, subscribing, hitting that notification bell, you know, whatever the kids do these days. It really does help the channel grow and keep me excited to continue making this kind of content, you know, outside of a full-time job. And that's really what we're here for, right? That's what the channel is about, doing what we love to do 5 to 9. So I appreciate your support. Watch the recommended video because, you know, the algorithm thinks you should. And until next time, I'll see you 5 to 9.